Mindset, man. Mindset. 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 Get ready to go, man. Have it on your mind, man. Have it on your mind. Have it on your mind. 60 minutes, man. Have it on your mind. Have it on your mind. 60 minutes. Have it on your mind.
Range need to snow, man.
Fast start, man.
All day, every day.
Fast start.
Hell, man, gotta go to work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fast start. 60 minutes. 60 minutes. 60 minutes. Fast start. Rain, see the snow.
I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl. Testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky.
Yes, yes, yes. Guess who's on third? Lupe still like Lupe in the third. Here like here till I'm bitter on the curb. Peach fuzz buzz, but bitter on the verge. Let's slow it down like river on the serve. Bottle shaped body like Mrs. Butterworth. But before you say another word, I'm back on the block like I'm laying on the street. I'm trying to stop lying like I'm Rob, but I'm not lying when I'm laying on the beat. On guard, a touche, Lupe, cool as the unthawed, but I still feel possessed as a gun charge. To come as correct as a porn star. And a fresh pair of steps and my best foreign car. So, I represent the first, now let me end my verse right where the horns are like,
I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl. Testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl. Testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky.
We back at home, baby.
Sky high, I'm 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 sky high, sky high, I'm sky high.
Yeah, keep it rolling. Yeah. Feels good to be home, baby. Feels good to be home.
For the day I die, I'ma touch the sky.
Hey, I told one of them cameras, watch this comeback.
What is good, everybody? Welcome back to season 3, the season 3 premiere of Bulldog Blitz. I know we said we was gonna be back a little later, but when Tuck came to me and said we had a special guest, we had to bring it back sooner than later. We had to bring it. Ain't that right, Tuck?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We had to bring it back. We had to bring it back. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Wait a minute. I'm coming. Go ahead, y'all.
we have with us tonight
Yeah.
the GM and Chief of Staff of Bulldog Football. See, y'all, we know about the glitz and glamours that happens on Saturdays, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And today we got the man himself that makes those things happen. So we're gonna sit down, we're gonna have a talk. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be real, it's gonna be entertaining, and it's gonna be about Bulldog football. Troy, what's going on, brother?
Kobe, what's up, man? How we doing?
Man, I'm good. I've been good since Atlanta. You know, I ain't come down off that high yet.
I feel you, man. I feel you. Tuck, what's up, man? Go Dogs, man. What's
Hey,
happening?
go Dogs, man. Go Dogs. Go Dogs. My guys in the building. You know what I'm saying? My brother Johnson, my dog team. You know what I'm saying? My frat brother. You know what I'm saying? Listen, this is one special moment for the Bulldog Blitz. Me and Kobe has been at this thing going on 3 years now, right, Kobe?
Yep.
And we've had some, you know what I'm saying, special people. We don't do a lot of guests. We probably about maybe 2 or 3 guests tops, but this hands down is probably one of my favorites, if not the favorite, because of the relationship that me and you have, the relationship that I have with your phenomenal mother, who was a queen, and just your history with, you know what I'm saying, South Carolina State. You know what I'm saying? And just you as a man, you as a person, you as a father, for one. And so I got a lot of love for you, bruh. And like I said, man, you know, Kobe, you know, when we talked last week and you gave us your blessings, man, the first thing I did was call my brother Kobe. And you know, Kobe almost Kobe almost came through the phone. And we was like, hey, let's make this thing happen ASAP. And here we are. So once again, brother, thank you, my guy.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. And it goes without saying, man, you guys do an excellent job. How you carry the legacy, how you portray what is Bulldog football, man. You guys are second to none, man. And we really appreciate it on this side. And I know Bulldog Nation appreciates everything that you guys put out. And so I'm humble, man. I'm very humble to be here tonight. You know, I know y'all said y'all wanted to do a show, and so to have me as the season opener, man, it feels good, man. It feels good, and it goes right along with what I've been receiving since I got back. You know, nothing but love, nothing but positivity, man, and just open arms. People welcoming me back in the Bulldog Nation. I ain't never left. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just took a little vacation. You know what I'm saying? I went and got some sun and some palm trees and stuff, man. But I'm back at the crib, man. I'm back in 803, back in the Berg, man. Where people say I belong. You know what I'm saying? So here it is. Here it
Where
is.
you belong, baby.
Yes,
Where
sir.
you belong.
Now, Troy, I kind of want to start this conversation off with a new saying that we seeing now. Raise the bar.
Yes, sir.
Raise the bar. I like it. And, you know, I know we kind of heard Coach Barry talk about it a little bit, but for the people who are watching and may not be familiar with the new saying, kind of break down what that means and where that came from.
Yeah, man. So you know, Coach Barry is top tier. You know, I've worked for a lot of people in my career, man, and from mentors to friends, you know, to people that I never knew until I took a job. But Coach Barry, man, the relationship that we've built, you know, over the last 3-4 years has really been second to none. And he's a visionary. He sees things, you know, long before they happen. And you know, last year after that disappointing loss in the Celebration Bowl, the spring mantra was hashtag BBB, right? Be back better. And so this year, after those guys accomplished the mission of going 1-0 in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? Coach came to the staff and he said, "Man, I got a new hashtag for the spring, and it's raise the bar, right? Because the bar has been set now. The standard has been set. Bulldog Nation, I mean, for 2 years in a row, we've been in Atlanta. 3 in the last 5, we've been in Atlanta. So the bar is set. So now we got to raise it. You know what I'm saying? We can't drop below it. We got to raise it. But if you know him, you know he's an acronym guy, right? And so that bar doesn't just mean bar. That bar is that BAR is be about results, right? So it's raise the bar is the hashtag, but the bar itself is be about results. And so that's our rally cry going into the spring. You're gonna see it everywhere. You know, you're gonna see that hashtag posted when we post on social media. We're talking to our guys in the building when we're talking as a staff. We're talking about raise the bar. But then, you know, Kobe, to that point, when I say coach is a visionary, he didn't just stop there. He took it another step further, right? And so as we inside of the program talk about raise the bar, he also introduced the same mantra to our alum and our supporters. Just raise the bar for them too. But that bar means something different on the alumni and the supporter side, right? And it's about build, advance, and restore. And that's the bar there. And build is trying to, you know, come up with the resources to build championship facilities for our guys because they desperately need it, right? And advance, that A is coming up with different ways to help fuel the body, help fuel our athletes. So nutrition and all of those type things are a big part of what that A is. And then the R, that's just mainly trying to help our guys stay here, retain our guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, with NIL and rev share and transfer portal being, you know, a really, really big thing, you know what I'm saying? We gotta make sure that we keep our guys in-house. And so that's what the bar is for our alums and our supporters, right? Is build, advance, restore, you know, build championship facilities, you know, advance our nutrition, and then restore, keeping our guys here, raising, you know, enough money in rev share and NIL to where we can, you know, we can compete with some of the other programs in FCS.
Right. And so you wanna
Go ahead, Cole. Go ahead.
Because I was just gonna say, while we on the topic of NIL, I know we all know it's changed the landscape of college football.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to FCS schools, particularly HBCUs, it makes things a little bit more challenging. So how have we been finding ways around it? I guess is what I want to ask. And also, how are you able to, or what's the pitch like when you're trying to sell a student on HBCU life as opposed to those bigger schools?
That's a really good question. And to that point, we have a unique way here at SC State on how we can do that, right? Do we have, you know, the 20.5 that the P4s have when everyone opted in last July? No, we don't have that, right? But what we do have, we sell, and we sell well, right? I think back to January 2nd when we first got back, right? And we looked at our board and how many spots we had to fill, right? And looking at it now, I'm sitting here looking at it right in front of me, and we got 41 newcomers, right? 20 high school guys and 21 transfers, right? And the success rate that we have when we get them on campus, if we were playing baseball, we'll be batting close to 700-800, right?
Mm-hmm.
From the plate, we'll have Ken Griffey, Hank Aaron type numbers if we was playing baseball, because when we get them here, right, very rarely do they leave without committing. And if they do leave without committing, after 24 hours of them going back home and talking to their people, they call them back and say, hey, we want to be Bulldogs, right? And so we have unique ways, and I won't pour out all the secret sauce, because I'm pretty sure there's some other people watching, you know what I'm saying? Trying to steal, you know what I'm saying? But we have a unique way, and I think the one thing that helps us is the fact that we have an administration, you know, from the top down that understands it, and they're willing to pour into us, willing to pour as much resources into us as they can to help us, you know, stay kind of right there where we are, right? I will say this, the guarantee games that we played last year, they really helped. You know, they really helped. We were able to pull some funds from those, you know, from those 2 guarantee games, and be able to, you know, help kind of jumpstart, you know, us into that new world of revenue share and things of that nature. So we got a long way to go, right? We got a long way to go, and that's part of the BAR, right? That's part of the Raise the Bar initiative that Coach will be, and you guys will see him, you know, out on the speaking trail and things of that nature, that he'll be selling that stuff to. He'll be selling that stuff to, you know, all of the alums and the supporters that he talked to over the next couple months. But it's amazing, man. Just, you know, being a little schoolboy from right here in Orangeburg, you know, being raised 5 minutes from campus, being able to see people come to our campus for visits, right? And to sit in the room and watch them pay attention to the presentation that Coach gives about our university and about our city, and being able to stand up in the room and echo the same things that he's saying about this place that I call home. You know, that's why I say when we get them to the plate, man, we swinging for the fences, and we ain't missing a whole lot. You know, if we got 40, you know, 41 newcomers here, you know, with majority of them being on campus already in the spring, like if I'm gonna just throw for easy math, if we had 50 visits, you know what I'm saying, between December and January, you know what I'm saying, we probably was 42 out of 50, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somewhere around in there, you know what I mean? So that's kudos to our staff.
Yeah.
You know, kudos to the leadership of Coach Berry. Kudos to Coach Pugh for allowing us to have the resources that we needed to have to be able to have those visits. Because guys, like I'll tell you, recruiting now is totally different.
It's tough.
It's totally different. You used to can develop relationships and find out about the mama, find out about daddy, and go visit them and figure out whether the girlfriend work at Walmart and pull up on her and all of that type of stuff. But now with the transfer portal, man, like you talking about, you meet a kid he entered the portal today, you on his Twitter, you following him, you in his inbox tonight, right? You finding out a little bit more information about him tomorrow, and then you trying to get him on a visit on Friday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when he leave a visit on Friday, you trying to send a grant and aid to him Saturday morning for him to sign so he can be back on campus on Monday to get ready to get in school. You know what I'm saying? So that thing is happening. It's happening like that. Yeah. And so to say that, you know, we've had the success that we've had, you know, since the Celebration Bowl, you know, up until now, man, it's been a godsend, man. It's been a godsend. So it couldn't happen without the partnerships with people on campus, you know, Dr. Finch and university, the admissions and enrollment people up there, Ms. Goodenova in financial aid, Dr. Jeffrey Jackson in student affairs, like the President Conyers and VP Smalls, like see it downstairs, you know, internally. Like there's a lot of moving parts that happened throughout that time. So our coaches was working tirelessly trying to make it happen. But we have, like I said, we got a really, really good campus staff and administration that's kind of helping us get that thing rolling too. So kudos to everybody, man, because it's definitely a different time.
I can tell you this, man, and thank you for that too, Troy. Like that was amazing. And I really appreciate that information. And I'm sure Bulldog Nation could as well. So I had the opportunity to attend last week's National Signing Day ceremony. That was probably one of the first of, you know, I probably have never seen a moment like that where South Carolina State had an event like that to celebrate and to highlight the new student athletes that were, becoming Bulldogs. First of all, let me say this. That was a phenomenal event. Excellent event. Kudos to you guys. When Coach Berry gave that elaborate, phenomenal presentation that he gave us, when he broke down his plans, you know what I'm saying, for the future, much like you stated already. And he also went over, you know, him plus different coaches went over, the different signees. You guys were able to bring in a incredible group of students, man. Phenomenal group of students. Despite losing coaches, right? Despite whatever challenges you guys may have had, right? You guys were still you were still able to answer the call. And being in that room, you can see how close, like you can see whenever we talk about, you know what I'm saying, culture, you can see how close y'all are.
Yeah.
Y'all are extremely close football, you know what I'm saying? Just not only like people want to say a community, but it seems more like a brotherhood with y'all.
Yeah.
And I want to say this right here, like from that night, man, what was so big about that night to you?
Man, you know, the biggest takeaway from that night was just seeing it all come together.
Right.
When I got back, I put it in front of Coach Berry. I said, Coach, I think, with the success of the 25 season,
Right.
and with everybody still buzzing about what happened, I think we can capitalize on that by doing this event, right? And I know, there's been some things in the past, but it's never really been something to this magnitude, on a signing day, right? There's always been the press conference, and you stand there in front of the cameras and talk about the class and all that type stuff. But to incorporate a fundraiser in that, it's a touchy subject, because you don't want to outspend your market, right? Because you got some people that give, you got a really, really good group of people that give, and then you got some people on the outside that want to give, but they kind of on the fence, like I don't really know, and so to see it come together, man, and I gotta, I'm all about, each of us need all of us, and I did not do it by myself.
Right.
Miss Aubrey Braley from Institutional Advancement. Aubrey was a major help. Tess Abbott, our director of recruiting, was a major help. Dominique Bartley from the athletics department was a major help. And Marcus Hicks, our social media and video coordinator, man. That group, we met several times to kind of put it all together. And when we kind of honed in on using the museum right here on campus, you could start to see everybody wheels start to turn, as far as the creative juices in the room started to flow, and it just came together, man. So to see the number of people that were there, even with us having a makeup basketball game that night, right? You know what I mean? So we knew we were going to be torn a little bit, with some people wanting to go to basketball, some people wanting to see what we were doing. And I really wish we didn't have to play, tag team that night, but it was what it was. Ultimately, man, just to see the people come out, have a good time, participate in the silent auction, win some items, have some food, mix and mingle with the staff. I don't think we've heard anything negative from that event yet.
Excellent event.
Yeah, it was a really good night, man. It was, that capped off a really, really good month of us just putting our boots on the ground and getting to work.
Now, oh, my bad. Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead. One more question, man. So like we whenever we talk about, recruiting, what I mean, and Coach Berry touched on it one time, how we used to we used to, like, Bulldog Nation, like, we used to be able to have the opportunity to sell tradition, right? But now players that don't really care about, like, they don't really care about tradition, right? However, when players seem to actually come to this campus, and you seemingly touched on it some, but how are y'all able to actually, just sell the culture, to these recruits? Because like you said, most recruits come here and before they even, jump on a plane, man, they are committed.
Yeah.
Saying? So without giving out the, secret ingredients, right, to the, to the sauce, whatever.
Yeah.
But these players, man, buy in real quick with y'all, man. Why is that?
It's several reasons, Tuck, and I'll be quite honest with you. Culture, people talk about culture all the time, right? And culture is simply just what you do, right? Culture is how you do what it is that you do.
Right.
And the one thing that we take pride in with the staff, and you kind of touched on it earlier about us being a brotherhood and that sort of thing.
Right.
So we don't put on, you know what I'm saying, when the recruits come.
Right.
When mama, daddy, auntie, granddaddy, when they come, we the same people that we are throughout this building each and every day.
Right.
Right. We gonna, regardless to whether it's a day where it's just defense recruits or whether it's a day when it's just offensive recruits, right? The first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna introduce ourselves as a staff, right? Because at the end of it all, everybody's gonna work with everybody.
Right.
Yeah, it may be an offensive lineman and a receiver on a visit,
Right.
but
Right.
at some point in time, they're gonna have to go deal with Coach Styles.
Right.
They're gonna have to deal with Coach Blanche. They're gonna have to deal with how, so they not just dealing with the offensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go introduce ourselves, right? And how we do anything is how we do everything. So the same way we address our team, you know what I'm saying? When we get in front of the team, we're gonna address the recruits. So we're gonna say go dogs, right? We're gonna start everything off with go dogs because that's who we are. That's our culture, right? And we're gonna explain to them, hey, this is how we say hi, this is how we say bye. So by the time we get done with staff intros, they saying go dogs too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then Coach B comes up, man, and Coach B has a very, very, very intense PowerPoint that talks about South Carolina State University and SC State football, like from the top to the bottom. You know what I'm saying? And so if anybody doesn't have all their questions answered or know more about SC State when that presentation is over, you weren't paying attention.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And then after that, it's just us now. It's just us being us. You know, so the same joking spirit that you see us with, on a regular day, we gonna crack them same jokes with the parents, right? We gonna line up in front of the kids, and when they come on, when they interacting with us, right? Man, you can't get off the line in front of me, man. What you doing? Line up. You know what I'm saying? And so now we're releasing that, somewhat anxiety that they may have, like, I don't really know, So when they see us relax and let our guard down, then now they start to do the same thing.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean? And again, like I said, in this day and age, the relationships that you develop in recruiting, you don't really have a whole lot of time to do that anymore. Right? You may have the time to get them on the phone like 3 or 4 times, right? Compared to the old days where you start recruiting them in May, right? And you got until February before they sign. The majority of them trying to sign in December because if they can, they try to enroll early so they can get in the spring ball and they can get going, right?
Yeah.
And so you gotta have a unique way of kind of putting your program out there. And so we still sell tradition, right? When you walk through these halls, you see, the tradition. You see 4 NFL Hall of Famers. You see a first rounder. You see a second rounder. You see a third rounder, right? You see all of the MEAC championships. You see the Celebration Bowl trophies. You know what I'm saying? So we still sell that, but we also sell the family atmosphere, right? And we can't sit here and try to sell family if we don't show family, you know? And so we're gonna sit down, we're gonna break bread with you, you know what I mean? We're gonna crack jokes with you, we're gonna hug on, mama and auntie, and we're gonna dap pop and granddad up. You know what I'm saying? The same way we'll dap you and Kobe up if y'all walked in the building. Ain't gonna be no different, right? Some moms, they get here and they a little apprehensive, like, I don't know whether I should hug you, whether I should shake your hand, or what you normally do. Because if you a hugger at your house, then come on. You gonna be a hugger here. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to shake my hand now when you meet everybody else at the crib, you hugging them up. And, you know what I'm saying? So let's just be who we are. Yeah. And that's what culture is. Yeah. And that's why it's so easy for us to sell culture, because we're not trying to invent culture when they get here. Right? We not going, when they get here, not gonna say go dogs to say hey and bye. Right? Because we say hey and bye with go dogs every day. Yeah. So we're gonna do the same thing, right? And I think a lot of times, people lose their identity in recruiting, and that's why people aren't as successful as others, because they change up, they twist the knob. You know what I'm saying? Like in that old Cutlass. So you had that old Cutlass.
I know about
you had to press the button to change from AM to FM. So when they get in there, they try to change. Nah, man. If we listen to 103.9 in our car, when we get in there with you, we listen to 103.9. We ain't gonna turn to 102.9. Just man, we listen to the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we gonna be who we are, and I think that helps us. Like that truly does.
Good.
Now, Troy, I kind of want to stay on that one thing that you said about when the kids come in, they're seeing the Hall of Famers, they're seeing the NFL guys. Knowing the success that South Carolina State has with developing talent. Even though we may not have the most resources out of a lot of schools, what we're able to do as far as developing talent and taking them to the league. And I feel like a part of what makes South Carolina State so special and what helps y'all in recruiting, and I want you to let me know if I'm right or wrong. What really helps y'all is the fact that when you send guys to the league, when we send guys to these All-Star games, they not just filling up NFL roster spots. No, they're having success. Jacoby Durant is having success.
Yes.
We saw what Darius Leonard did. We saw what Javon Hargrave did, and more. I think we tied with Tennessee State as far as HBCU players drafted or just current active NFL players in the league right now.
Right.
We're tied at number 1, so there's something's working. So yeah. I feel like a part of that really helps y'all with recruiting as well when those kids come in, and just how much of that do you sell? Even though we know all the kids ain't gonna make it to the league, but that's a great selling point to those kids. That hey, if you really like that, if you really put the time in, this could be you. It's not impossible. So how much of that is a selling point when you're recruiting these kids?
It's big. It means a lot, and you go a step further when you can introduce your staff and you can have a David Blanchard, what I'm saying, introduce himself as a D-line coach, and he's he was on staff with when you had a Chadrick Darby, right? He coached Javon Hargrave, right? He was there with Darius Leonard. You know what I'm saying? He was there with the James Lees of the world and the Marshall McFaddens of the world and all of those guys that have that NFL pedigree, right? He blocked. He was blocking against the number one, the first round draft pick in Robert Porcher, right? So he blocked for Michael Hicks and Kenny Bonner. And all of those guys, when you start dating back, how many NFL guys that have come through this place, you don't need anything else, right? The proof is right there.
Right.
He coached Javon Hargrave, who at the time signed the highest contract by a defensive player at that time, and has him on speed dial, can pick up the phone and call him right then. You know what I'm saying? So you have that. You have a head coach who has coached multiple NFL offensive linemen who have spent time doing NFL internships, right? When you have an offensive coordinator who just spent last training camp at the newly crowned Super Bowl champs, who he let all of us know that the last couple of days by wearing his Seahawks here in the office, right? But you have a coach who has done that. He's been there and worked with the NFL, right? We just hired Coach AJ Hampton. Coach AJ did an internship with the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? And so we have people in the building that when we're talking about something, Kobe, we ain't just blowing smoke, right? There's evidence, right? So we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to go back to that word again, right? Culture. So we're going to talk about A's, B's, championship degrees, right? We're going to talk about our A's, B's, C's, and D's, right? And so when you see that, you see us talk about A's and B's, and then you see the graphic come up that not only while winning the HBCU National Championship on the field, right, we had a 3.25 GPA off the field. So you're talking about a holistic approach to developing a young student athlete, whether it be a high school kid, whether it be a transfer, you know what I'm saying? And then bring it present day, you see a dub, right? You see a dub go to East West Shrine. You see dub with the Aeneas Williams Award, right? You see us have 7 to 8 guys in the Legacy Bowl, which they're going to get an opportunity to perform in front of all 32 NFL scouts. You know what I'm saying? And so you see Bug just yesterday just got picked up by Winnipeg, right? You see it, and it's only the small piece of the pie. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's very easy to sell it, and it's up on the wall. Like, it's everywhere you go around here. You know what I mean? It's in the main hallway. You see all the NFL guys. Then you go on the football end of the hall, and you see another graphic with NFL guys. And then you look right when you walk into the door to the right, and you see those 4 gold jackets on the wall. You know what I mean? So the proof is in the pudding. It ain't like we got to try to, go and find it from 40, 50 years ago. Like,
Mm.
oh, yeah, here's the guys that we had in the league when all of the black talent was going to HBCUs, right?
Mhm.
Now we got them here recently. Kobe was one game away from the Super
The
Bowl.
Super Bowl, right?
Facts. Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Hargrave just won the HBCU NFL Player of the Year
Wow.
at the awards the other night, right?
Wow.
You got the 101 performing to open the show up. Like it's everywhere, man. You know what I mean? But that's what happens when you win. When you win, things happen. You know what I'm saying? And then you can stand up and poke your chest out and say, yeah, man, yeah, we bought that. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? We bought that.
Yes.
And I know you talked about earlier that you don't necessarily have as much time in this day and age to recruit these kids. You don't have time to get to know the girlfriend that's working at Walmart and all those things that you used to be able to do. So hearing that, I imagine that the fact that it got to be trimmed somewhere because you don't have as much time. So I also feel like because of that, you have to know what type of kids you want to fit this program, and you kind of have to have an idea of that going into this thing because you only have so much time. So I want to ask you, what type of kids best fits South Carolina State football?
High character. They got to have high character, right? It may not always be the best player, right? But it's going to be the person with the best fit. So high character is going to be that. You got to love ball. It's hard to play football at this level. It's hard, right? You gotta be on the field at 5:50 for a 6 o'clock flex for mat drills, right? It's hard. While you coming out of your building and every apartment over in Hugh Guinea Suites or every apartment over in UV, they lights out, they 10 toes up. You know what I'm saying? They 10 toes up. Or when you getting ready to go to bed, because you got to get up, they turn. They having the party in their quad or whatever, right? So you got to love this thing to be able to do it. So if you don't love it, if you ain't a high character kid, right, and you off the market off top. Don't even send that email saying this kid want to be recruited by South Carolina State, because we ain't even looking that way. That's a non-negotiable. We ain't even looking that way, right? So you got to be high character. You got to love ball, right? And then you got to have a willingness to compete, because there's a lot of individuals in this day and age that grew up in that certificate society.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They getting them participation trophies and, hey man, good job. Like, it's not about wins and losses. Like it's just about having fun. Nah. Truth of the matter is that 3.2 GPA is gonna look really, really good on social media when we post that graphic.
Yes, sir.
Right? But let us go 0-12 with a 3.25 GPA. President Conyers ain't gonna come and say, "Hey man, y'all really killing it in the classroom, guys." You know what I'm saying? They gonna come to Colbert and say, "Hey man, we got to figure something out now." So you gotta have people that's willing to compete,
right?
Because if you ain't willing to compete and you gonna lay down, then you ain't our type of kid, right? So you gotta have high character. You gotta love ball. You gotta be willing to compete. And then you got to be able to deal with some stuff when adversity strikes, man. Because it happens. It's going to strike in life. It's going to strike on the football field. It's going to strike in the classroom. Who are you going to be when adversity strikes? Are you going to hold the rope? Are you going to dig deep? Are you going to be willing to pay the fee? Or are you going to give up? And if you the guy that's going to give up, then don't even come our way.
Right.
We want those guys. So that's the type of kid that we look for, Kobe, whether that be a high school kid, whether that be a transfer kid, whatever. You gotta have those qualities.
Troy, when we talk about the high school kids, and now me and you have been around this program for a mighty long time, right? We've seen it from the doggone, Dwayne Harper days on up, right? To the Robert Porsche days, to you know what I'm saying, Charger Darby, you know what I mean, you name it, we have seen Bulldog football. We was watching Bulldog football when the home side was on the other side of the field.
And you had the track around. The track was going around the stadium.
Around the field, right?
Yes, sir.
Like, we didn't see Bulldog football, right? And I've been around it, you know what I'm saying? You know, you traveled the world a little bit, you know, you went to Clemson for a while, you know what I'm saying? And you did the thing there, and you grew your career, you know what I'm saying, step by step, man, process by process. And I've, you know, been around, you know, South Carolina State football, man, for some time, and I've seen, we can remember where there was a thing called gray shirt, right? Remember that? Oh, there was a thing called prop. What was it?
Prop 48.
Right. I mean, Prop 48.
Yeah.
Well, we've gone now from Prop 48 to now having 12 high school players to come in mid-year.
Mm-hmm.
That's unheard of. Like, last year we had my guy, what was his name? 55, the offensive lineman come in. Keondae come in, and that was like, you know, something new for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to have 12, man, what? Let's talk about what actually went into that process, man, because that is something new for Bulldog Nation.
Well, it's a conglomerate of a lot of things, man. One, you got to give a shout out to their high school guidance counselors.
Wow.
Right? It starts there because they have to be ready and have all of their classes done in order to leave.
Wow.
Right. And so it's funny because I was having a conversation. This was Saturday, this past Saturday, with me and Lolo was at his mom and dad's house, and Angie was talking, and Angie is a guidance counselor and has been, you know, one of the top guidance counselors in the country that I think, you know what I'm saying, was able to provide plenty of opportunities for my generation at OW, and now is working over at the charter school. But she was talking about, you know, how they are preparing their students at the charter school. By the time they graduate, if they do it the right way, they should have an associate's degree, right?
Wow.
And so you gotta have that approach from your high school guidance counselors first and foremost, to be able to put those kids on a track to where if they don't enroll early, they just go into high school second semester just to go. Right. They taking weightlifting and driver's ed and you know what I'm saying, keyboarding or something just to say that they in school. So that's where it starts first. Those high school guidance counselors putting those kids on the right track to where they got the number of hours that they need, you know, to really complete their high school diploma. And then they leave early, right? And they come and they enroll. And then you gotta give kudos to our university admissions team as well too, because they're articulating, you know, those high school transcripts, and they're making sure the kids can get admitted, and you know, they have the right GPAs and all of that type stuff. And then when you get them here, right, then the ownership falls on us as a staff. Gotcha. Because we got to keep our hands on it. And the reason why we got to keep our hands on it, because some of them are just 17 years old, bro.
That's true.
They should be, like Coach Barry says all the time, they should be home getting ready for the prom.
Right.
They should be going to Men's Warehouse and getting fitted for tux and, you know what I'm saying, all of that. But they staying in dorms, going to the CAV, you know what I'm saying, taking classes with 19 and 20-year-olds, right? And it's a culture shock, man. You talk about a 17, 18-year-old who mama been coming in the room, pushing them in the morning, like, hey man, get up, time for you to go. So now they got to rely on that iPhone, that alarm. You know what I'm saying? You used to sleeping in, you know, your room, and you know, some of these kids now, man, they got their own bathroom in their room. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got to share a bathroom with nobody. you know, growing up, man, you stay in the house with grandmama, you gotta pull a number to get in the bathroom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they ain't used to this. So now they come on campus and you got to share a bathroom with somebody. You know, God forbid you got to go in Mitchell or something like that. You head to head.
Right.
His feet going that way, your feet going this way. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a major ordeal for them. But what I will say about these 12 that we got on campus, they are working their tails off. And you can literally see them being indoctrinated into SC State football each and every day. Like the first couple of days, you know, they walking around, they wide-eyed, they be like, I don't know about this one. He may not, you know what I'm saying? And then a couple of days later, you see him and he bouncing around like he know where he going. Like, where you going, man? Oh, I'm going to the engineering building. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm going over to Hodge. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And they loving it, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's a work, you know, it's a process, man. And we talk about the process all the time over here, you know what I'm saying? And they got to fall in love with it. But that process starts at the high school, you know, with them being in the right classes. Then it starts with our team of our academic people, our admissions counselors, and our recruiting department here of making sure that they're ready to go. And then once they get here, it's all hands on deck. You know, our whole staff, we getting in their lives. You know what I'm saying? We bringing them over. We having, you know, one-on-ones. We having TED Talks with them. You know, we asking them what they seeing. You know, all of those type things, man, and just building relationships with them. And that's been going a long way.
Thanks. Good stuff, bro. I appreciate that.
So Troy, it's knowing the past couple of years, we've seen a couple true freshmen who've made an impact. You know, last year was Keon Day, Mason Pickett Hicks splashed, you know, for a little bit. Even you can go back a couple of years ago to Jawan Howell, you know, but before he left, he played a big role in the offense. And now, you know, having 12 true freshmen on campus, is a freshman making an impact sort of a expectation now, or is this just something that you know, just, you know, is it just a regular thing of getting them on campus and trying to get them developed, and if they turn into something their freshman year, cool, but you know, that's not the goal.
Yeah, I think it's the latter. You know what I'm saying? I think it gives them the ability to have 6 months worth of, you know, college workouts and 15 practices. You know what I'm saying? And then a summer of workouts and conditioning and all of that type stuff. Do you want an 18-year-old to have to play, you know, 60, 70, 80 snaps a game? No, you don't want that, right? Because they 9 times out of 10, they lining up across from a 22, 23, 24-year-old.
That's right.
And so from a physicality standpoint, they probably not ready to do that. And some of them from a mental standpoint, they're not ready to do that. But if them getting in early, them having those 15 practices in the spring to get, you know, their bodies acclimated to the speed, the physicality, you know, all of that type stuff, learning the system, if that helps and you get to August, you get to September and they ready to go, by all means, put them out there. You know what I'm saying? And now with the 4-game rule, they can play up to 4 games and still get a red shirt. So you can be strategic in stealing them a game here or stealing them some reps there and still protect the integrity of their red shirt, you know, with the 4-game rule that the NC2A implemented a few years back. You know, so to answer your question, no, you don't want them to have to play, but the ability for them to be able to play is a lot greater with them coming in January versus them showing up in June or July.
That's good. That's good stuff.
I want to go. I'm a one more, and I'm gonna let you go, Tuck.
No. I just want to make sure real quick, Kobe. Let's throw in there for the listeners. You know what I'm saying? Whoever have a question, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? You know, put your questions in right now. So whenever Kobe is done, we can start getting to some of the questions from the listeners.
Yeah. And yeah, I'll be able to pull that up. So go ahead and get your questions in right now, guys. But Troy, I kind of want to go back to the culture a little bit because,
Mhm.
like like we said earlier, college football is constantly changing,
Yeah.
and I just want to know, how do you protect the HBCU culture while still trying to modernize the program, and how challenging is that for you?
That's a great question. That's a great question. And I think um, how we keep the HBCU culture relevant is you guys. Y'all do it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all do it by doing things like this, right? By having your podcast, by showing up and being in the stands and cheering and allowing our athletes to turn around and see Garnet and Blue, whether they be in Oliver C or whether they're on the road, in Delaware playing for a league championship, right?
Right.
You get it by continuing to acknowledge what makes HBCUs great,
Right.
and it's the people. The people are what make it great, right?
Right.
We could call a game at Oliver C homecoming, right? But it ain't a homecoming unless there's people there,
Right.
right? And so that's what keeps that going. But in the same breath, those are the same things that's going to keep us from going left when it comes to the new age of college football, right? Because we need the people. We need the people to help us keep the HBCU culture alive, to help homecoming be homecoming. Or when the band plays Get Up for the Bulldogs, if don't nobody get up, then it's just like another song at at one of our counterpart schools, right? But it's the people, right? I'll say this, and Tuck touched on it earlier. I graduated from Clemson, right? Great 4 years, great experience, wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. But the one thing that we knew from the moment them boys rubbed that rock and ran down the hill, the only time them 80-something thousand was going to sit down was going to be at halftime and doing timeouts.
Right.
But when that ball was in play, they was going to be standing up, they were going to be cheering, and they were going to be creating that Death Valley atmosphere, right? And that's what we got to have at the HBCUs in order to keep the HBCU tradition going, right? Is the people have to get involved. And I'll say this, man, I've been at a lot of HBCUs, right? I've been at a lot and played at every school in the MEAC and played at every school in the SWAC, right? When Bulldog Nation wants to get loud and wants to rally behind their Bulldogs, man, it's second to none.
Second to none.
Man.
It's second to none, man.
Second to none.
Now, the key is what I just said, when they want to, right?
Yeah.
When they want to. And that has to be 365. You know what I'm saying? When whatever is going on. I don't care, what the outcome is, what the score is, it has to be that. And I'm starting to see it come back. When I came back in 24 and to see the amount of people that traveled with us on the road, to road games in 24, it was amazing, right? Watching some games this year when I was in Miami, when the Bulldogs was on the road and seeing how they traveled, and then getting an opportunity to come to Atlanta. Jay just said it in the chat, right? Getting the opportunity to come to Atlanta and witness Bulldog Nation in the dome, right? There's nothing like South Carolina State playing in Atlanta, whether it's the Classic, whether it's the Celebration Bowl. Like we show out in the A, right? But I'm there and I'm with one of my homeboys that went to Clemson with me. He's from Union, Kyle Brown. And shout out to KB. KB's with me at the game, and Coach Simmons is there, and we're sitting in the champions in the champions booth with all of the Celebration Bowl coaches that's won the game over the years, and we walked the concourse at the halftime. Me and KB did, and to hear the eruption when we scored the first touchdown, right? And then to hear the eruption when we scored the second touchdown, and then to watch the concourse, people just totally disappear. Because at that point, it was not about the reunion, taking the pictures, all of that. It's about, let's get our butts back in these seats.
Yeah.
Right.
We can pull our Bulldogs to victory. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, man. So that's how you keep it. You keep it with the people. And the
Right.
things that you guys do on your platforms, you know, the things that our fans do week in and week out, whether we, like I said, whether we're in Oliver C, you know, whether we're, you know, on the road, getting here early, tailgating, coming out to Bulldog Walk and ushering our guys into the stadium. You know, those little things matter, man. Like they matter. And the guys look forward to those opportunities, right? It's real hard to come out of Staley or get off of the bus for Bulldog Walk and ain't nobody out there. That's tough.
That's
right?
tough.
But you guys, when I say you guys, I mean Bulldog Nation has done an amazing job of just picking up of little things that's been dropped out there, right? Bulldog Walk when we brought it back in 24, you know, to see the crowds that was out there for that. You know, I've seen some videos of Bulldog Walk from this past season and to see the crowds in the stands and President Conyers, you know, granting the band the ability to travel to every road game and the cheerleaders, like all of those things, man, help keep HBCU culture at its all-time high.
That's true. That's good stuff, Troy.
We don't really have questions right now. So tell you if you want to go.
Okay.
Man, y'all need to ask some questions, man, because y'all been in my emails going crazy.
Oh, I know they've been in it.
You know what I'm saying? So I know y'all got some questions tonight, man. Don't do that now.
They look starstruck, man. They look, see, we have fans that are camera shy.
They camera shy.
A lot of them camera shy. But
I will, while we waiting on that though, I do want to ask you. You know, we've all saw the schedule.
Yeah.
We've seen the schedule. No FBS games this year. We're keeping it on our level of play for the most part, and you know we're going to Furman. You know, and we're playing FAMU again. You know, and so I just want to know, was there a certain thought process that went into making this schedule? Was it more of we want to play more guys on our level of play? You know, was it kind of a we want to see where we're at, kind of we want to play those guys and beat those guys to see where our program is, or is it just kind of how the schedule lined up?
It's a combination of a couple things, Kobe. One, you know, scheduling and over the years, I wasn't really privileged to this information. It wasn't until I became a DFO that I started, you know, getting in scheduling conversations and kind of hearing the rationales behind schedules and how far schedules are out in advance and all that type stuff. But it's a twofold deal. One, the CFP is a real thing, right? The college football playoff is a real thing. And strength of scheduling at that level is a real thing.
Yes, sir.
Right? And so you're going to start to see a lot of the P4s kind of teeter off from playing, you know, the FCS opponents because they're trying to strengthen their schedule. So if they happen to lose a conference game mid-year and able to right the ship later on, they can probably find their way into the CFP, right? But in the same breath on the FCS level, it's the same thing, right? You got two facets in the FCS. You have the HBCUs who have the ability to play for a national championship at the end of the season, right? And then you have our PWI counterparts in the FCS that are playing for an opportunity to get into the FCS playoffs, right? For an HBCU, whether people will say it or whether they won't say it, right? Celebration Bowl is the ceiling.
Right.
That's what everybody's shooting for.
Right.
Right? That's what everybody's shooting for. We just so happen to be on the side of the equation that we got a 5-game season. We got a 5-game season, right? Now, yes, we want to go run the table and we want to play our best football early, middle, and late, right? But the truth of the matter is we got a 5-game season. And if we can go 1-0 5 times, right? Then we in Atlanta.
Right.
You make your money for your school, for your conference, all of that. You give the fans something to cheer for, all of that type stuff. So when you look at building schedules, right? Yes, you would love to get those paydays from the P4s. You would love that. But if you have the ability 1 year out of 3 or 1 year out of 4 to set yourself up to have the best season that you can possibly have, and if for God's sake you stump your toe in league play, you want to have a solid enough schedule to where you can slide in and at large at the FCS level. You know what I'm saying? And so that's when you look at scheduling, that's kind of the 3-prong, with the scheduling. One, the big boys they are slowly pushing themselves away from playing those cupcake games, early, late in the year. That's why you see LSU and Clemson opening up the season. You see the Chick-fil-A kickoff game in Atlanta, with parring 2, P4 teams playing against each other. You're seeing that because that's helping their strength of scheduling. And then on the same thing on our end, the HBCUs, you see us kind of modeling our schedules to where we can fine tune early, right? Kind of rev that engine up in October, prepare yourself for November to remember, and then you get a chance to play for it all in December. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a couple schools in the SWAC that don't have FBS opponents this year as well too. You know what I'm saying? I think they're playing a 12-game FCS schedule. So you're going to start to see more of it. And the ones that are playing them this year, they probably had those contracts in place for the last 5-6 years. Right. You know what I'm saying? And because that's how far along they schedule those games.
Okay. We got some questions now. Definitely got some questions now. Eric Jones wants to know, when should we expect the next DC hire?
Man, Eric, I told you the other day. You gonna see it in a couple of days, my brother. Nah. I appreciate it, Eric. It'll be here soon. You'll see it here soon. Coach doesn't rush to do anything. He's gonna take his time. He's a praying man. He's always gonna ask God to lead him, guide him, and direct him. And once he gets his answer from the man upstairs, he'll let Bulldog Nation know. I promise you, he will. Right? But we're not gonna miss a beat. Love Coach O'Daffer. That's my brother. I appreciate everything he's done for South Carolina State. For South Carolina State football. Right. But at the end of the day, a man got to be a man. And I appreciate what he's done for this program and the type of person that he is and how he carries himself and how he handles his business. But we're going to miss him. We love him. We still keep in touch with him. He still keeps in touch with us on the daily. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna be okay. Defensively, we're going to be okay. And again, we can go raise John Madden from the dead. If we ain't got no players, it don't matter who calling the shot.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta have them Jimmys and the Joes. Ain't the X's and the O's.
Yes, sir.
Jimmys and the Joes. But Eric, man, come on, man. I just told you that the other day on Twitter, dog. You just hit me up the other day. You know you my guy. Right?
Next question. Brian Singleton wants to know, when is the next fundraiser?
Great question, man. We're working. We have some things in the works. And so it's gonna drop here fairly soon. The next fundraiser is actually going to be an opportunity for everybody to participate. It's going to be a championship store. Is what it's going to be, and it's going to be memorabilia to commemorate the 2025 HBCU National Championships. It'll be a website with a bunch of gear, some mugs, some shirts, some hoodies, all type of stuff. And so that's going to be the next one, Brian. And you guys can participate in that, buy as much stuff as you want. and proceeds from that to come directly back to the program. But that's gonna hit here pretty soon.
Yo, hey, when that drop, y'all, don't be stingy. Open up that wallet. Hey, don't. All right, they coming in now. What do you think about the OBC against FAMU?
I love it. I love it. It's an old rival. It gives Bulldog Nation an opportunity to go, to the 305 on a holiday weekend. You got a long weekend. You don't have to be to work on Monday, right? You can take the family. You can enjoy the beach on Saturday, watch football on Sunday, and hop on a bird or hop in the car, whatever you want to do, and make your way back on Monday. It's a great opportunity against one of our old, steady rivals in FAMU. They're going to be excited. They're going to be in Coach Quinn's grade. That's going to be his second game. I think they open up at home against somebody. I can't remember who, but that's going to be his second game, and they're going to be excited. He's going back to where he's from. He's from South Florida. He has a few South Florida guys on his staff, and so it'll be an exciting game. And if you guys can remember back to the 24 season, we went down there and opened up the season in Bragg, and that was a great game.
That was a fantastic game.
It was a fantastic game. We came up short, looking back on it, it was probably what we needed at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We wanted to come away with the win, but we probably need to learn a little bit about ourselves during that game, and we did. And it helped propel us, for a great year in 24. But it's going to be a great atmosphere, man. I've been a part of that game for 3 years on the other side, on the FAMU side, and was there this past season when they played Howard in the OBC. And it's a exciting time, man. Kendra Bullock Major and her team over at the Orange Blossom Classic, they do an amazing job. You'll probably see them up in Orangeburg here sometime soon. They typically like to get involved with the fan bases of both teams when they're playing. So they may be up doing spring ball, probably doing a spring game or something like that. But it'll be a great time, man. It'll be a great opportunity for Bulldog Nation to get to South Florida and really show the Rattlers how we get down.
All right. Good job. Now, Sean Mixon wants to know, he says, Troy, what positions do you think we still need to bring in a guy or two? I know offensive tackle is a position that we may need a guy.
Sean, Sean, my guy, man. So I can say this and Sean ain't going to take offense. Sean, if you would have came to the celebration the other night, right, and bought a ticket and come and hung out with us, you would have heard it from the head man himself on what we still need. But now, Sean's my guy, man. Sean's always representing down there in the 843, man. But we still 1 or 2 offensive linemen and a tight end and a big play receiver away from being really, 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 really good. And a punter. We need to add one more punter to the mix. Best available there. But we got a few positions that we still in need of, but we working. It don't stop. The mailman got to go to work.
The mailman got to go to work.
All right. RP Brown wants to know, what is the plan for the old weight room when the new weight room is completed?
Great question. And that's a part of the bar initiative, raise the bar initiative. I won't spend a whole lot of time on it, but there is a plan for the old weight room once we transition into the new weight room, and I think that plan, when it comes to light, it'll make Bulldogs, old and young, very, very proud of the vision for that area. But it's in the works.
Okay. Jay Anderson wants to know, what happened with the Alabama State game?
Nothing. It's still there. It's just like I said, scheduling. There's always moving parts to scheduling.
Yeah.
And it didn't go away. All right. It's just on the back burner for a little bit, but we'll get the opportunity to get the Hornets on the schedule, and I think it'll be a good game for both parties involved. But there was some nuances that need to get moved around and some different pieces of the puzzle that need to happen. But it hadn't gone anywhere. Coach Pugh and AD Capel over at Bama State, they're working to make sure that we can get that done. So it'll be sometime here soon, but it hadn't gone away.
Okay. All right. So that's all right now for the fan questions. Tuck, you got a question?
Yeah, man. So you know, we're all excited about the 26 season. And I know that you know, you guys take it, you know what I'm saying, step by step. Because this is a process with you guys. And leading into the spring, man, what excites you about the spring?
Man, just getting back on the grass.
Right.
You know, getting back on the grass, watching these guys compete, the talent that has been assembled on both sides of the ball. You know, watching our new coaches get after it. You know, watching them and their energy. You know, and just being back. You know, being back on the grass, man. It's just it's one that's a thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you're able to put, you know, left foot, right foot down on that turf, on that grass, man, and just watch the guys compete, watch the guys fly around. It brings excitement. It lets you know that it ain't too far away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what spring ball does. Spring ball teases you, man. Spring,
it does.
you get out there for 15, and then now you got to go sit still for another couple of months before you can get that thing, man. But we're excited, man, and I think the biggest part of the spring is just seeing the guys compete. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like we said, the bar has been set, man. The standard has been set, and we got to do our job to raise it. You know, we can't grow weary in well doing, as the good word says. You know what I'm saying? We got to continue to chop wood and carry water, and just fall in love with the process. And I think that's what this spring is gonna help us and allow us to do, is just continue to fall in love with the process and go on 1-0 every day.
Excellent.
I got a couple more questions for you, Troy. No, number one, I just want to know personally, has there been any player since you've been doing this? Has there been any player that you looked at and said, "This is why I do it"?
Not just at South Carolina State, just in general.
Just in general.
In general. Yeah. It's been a lot, man. It's been a lot, and you know, it's different because on one hand you got the equipment side, right, and then the other side you got, you know, the operation side. You got, you know, the chief of staff side and all of that. You know, one guy that stands out to me, and there were a ton, and I hate to call names because I'm gonna miss some, right? But there's a guy, and he just actually he was in the Super Bowl, which is crazy. But Terrell Jennings, right? Terrell played running back for us at FAM when I was there, and Terrell was always the second guy, you know, in some situations a third guy, you know. But me and Rel kind of developed this little bond, man, and we just was always talk. You know, he'll come by the office and he'll share with me. I'll pour, you know, certain things into him, and you know, we talk about it. And Coach Simmons used to give Terrell the business, man. I'm talking about, oh God, he give him the business. And Rel was from Jacksonville, and you know, Rel had some, you know, he had some of that in his neck. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know the word I'm talking about. He had some in his neck, and so, you know, it wasn't always 75 and sunny with Rel, right? But some odd reason, man, me and Rel connected to the point where I could always talk to Rel, and Rel would just kind of, you know, get back right. And in 23, he really had the breakout year that he had been longing for, right? And he was the SWAC championship game MVP. Had a tremendous game in the Celebration Bowl. You know, he was the Florida Classic game MVP, offensive MVP. And then ironically, you know, I leave after the Celebration Bowl. I come here to Orangeburg, and throughout the draft week, you know, I get a text message that Terrell is in camp with the New England Patriots.
Wow.
And when I got the text message, the first thing I said, Rel gonna make the team. And he said, "You think so?" I said, "Rel gonna make the team," because Rel is hungry. He's always had that chip on his shoulder that, you know, people said he wasn't good enough to be the number one back. And then he eventually ends up being the guy. And we rode him, you know, in 23, and he carried us to a championship, him countless other guys on that team, but Rel was one of them guys, Kobe, that kind of just, you know what I'm saying? He was one of the ones. Probably another one, it was our quarterback at middle, Dwight Dasher. Dwight was from South Georgia. Came to us as a freshman, ended up starting as a true freshman down the line in his freshman year. But Dwight and I developed a really, really good relationship. I'm talking about to the point where, you know, he could come in my office and just take a nap and just sit down. If him and his girlfriend was going through it at the time, both of them come in the office and sit down and I talk to them and get them off the ledge. You know what I'm saying? And they leave there hugging and they leave there best of friends, right? And Dwight was a ball player. Oh, he was a ball player. He was a true dual threat guy. You know, he could sling that thing, but he had that South Georgia accent, boy. He was country as all get out. But when them lights came on, Dwight was a straight up ball player, man. And I really, really, we still keep in touch to this day. You know what I'm saying? And that was, I think Dwight finished in 2010 was his last season. I think 2010, somewhere around in there. And so set a New Orleans Bowl record. You know, we won the New Orleans Bowl in 2009. And so it's been countless number of guys, man. Like I got a jersey in here right now that I need to take and get framed from Isaiah Land that he signed for me before he left Indianapolis Colts. You know what I'm saying? And so there's been guys, man, even guys here, you know, when I was working here at South Carolina State, you know, the James Lees of the world, even Baker. Man, Bake was my guy, you know, him and Will Ford and all them guys. So it's been plenty of guys, Kobe, throughout the years. If I start calling names, man, we'll be here all night.
Yeah.
Hey, my last question, Coach. Do you got a routine on game day? Do you got a little certain ritual that you do? What that's looking like?
Yeah, man, I do. It's crazy. And you know what's so weird about it? It changes with the year.
Okay.
It changes with the year. Like for a while, so I'll go back. 2009, we were at Middle Tennessee. I'm the equipment guy. Coach Stock is the head coach, and we're sitting at a crossroads at the middle of the season. We're 3-3, right? We're 3-3. We had just lost to Mississippi State. And it's a Tuesday. And I had a rough day. Coach Simmons, who was the running back coach at the time, he had a rough day. We came off the practice field. We was in the locker room. We was in the coach's locker room. And I said, man, I need a steak, man. I said, I need a steak and I need a big beer. And he was like, boy, you must have read my mind. He was like, what you want to do? I said, man, let's go to Longhorn. It's like, all right, bet. So we went to Longhorn. We sat at the bar. He ordered a ribeye. I ordered a ribeye. I got the corn and lobster chowder and broccoli. Coach Simmons got a salad with ranch, and he got a sweet potato, right? I had a tall Bud Light. Coach Simmons had a tall Miller Lite, right? Boom. Eat steak. We talk about the day. He go to his house. I go to mine. Well, Wednesday, get out of practice. We had some friends in Murfreesboro, the Neal family, Matthew Neal, his daughter Mallory and Morgan, and his wife at the time, Pam. Matt was a big time booster at Middle Tennessee. So he called us. He said, hey man, we cooking. Why don't y'all come over for dinner? All right, cool. So me and Coach Simmons, we go to Neal's house on Wednesday. Thursday, there's a restaurant in town called Coach's Grill. So Coach Simmons, myself, our GAs, Coach Brent Brock, and his wife Missy, we all get together at Coach's Grill and we eat. We get a couple buckets of beer and we have some wings and we just chop it up. Well, Friday we travel, right? Saturday, we beat somebody. I can't remember who it was. We beat them by like 3 touchdowns, right? So Tuesday, or the following week, guess where we were? At Longhorn. Ordering the same thing. And then Wednesday, we was back at the Neals. And then Thursday, we was back at Coach's Grill. Saturday come around, we beat somebody else. So the following Tuesday, we was right back at Longhorn. So for the rest of the year, right? We went 7 games in a row. We finished the season 10-3, win the New Orleans Bowl in the Superdome. And so for the rest of that season, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the routine was the same, right? And so from that point on, I'm like, yeah, superstitious is probably my thing, you know. So it went down to the point where I used to wear 2 pair of socks on game day. I would go left foot, right foot, left foot.
Wow.
Didn't change, right? And so I get something in my mind and I just stick with it. Like the whole season of 2023, if you look at like my social media, if you see me walking into the stadium on game day on a road game, I got an orange bag that looks like a Nike shoebox. Like it's built just like a shoebox, but it's a bag. It got a zipper. And I had inside of that bag, my toiletry bag, and then all of our credentials, all of the credentials for the coaches. So I would get off the bus, suited and booted with that Nike bag. I wouldn't carry nothing else into the locker room with me. I would go in, I'll put that Nike bag down, I'll pass out the credentials. After I pass out the credentials, I go back to the bus and I get my duffel bag and bring it in. So after the game, I can put on my travel suit and get ready to go back home.
That's interesting.
That's it.
It's you know, some people, you know, say they lucky, you know, underwear or t-shirt or whatever. You know, this year may be something different. Right? There may be something that I do against Savannah State in Oliver Seed that when we get to Hard Rock Stadium the following week, I'm gonna do that. You know, it's gonna be that thing. Now, you know, if we lose a game, then I try to tweak 1 or 2 things. Right? And be like, dang, I ain't do this, so we lost. I got to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird, man. But I have my little quirks, man.
I love that, man. I love that.
I gotta wear the same belt. I gotta wear the same black belt. I can't change my belt.
Okay.
The belt gotta be the same. And after the game, I'm gonna roll my belt up and I'm gonna stick it inside my shoe, my game shoe. I'm gonna stick my belt inside my shoe. And it gotta go inside the right shoe. Can't go inside the left.
You got
That's good stuff.
You serious?
Dead serious.
Oh, I love that, man.
Yeah.
I love the superstitions.
Yeah.
You'll notice on the sideline, like if I'm standing a certain type of way, just pay attention to it. You probably never noticed it. If I'm standing like this on the sideline and we're doing good, I'm probably not gonna change my posture.
Okay.
I think I have. You know what? Yeah. Okay.
Now you're gonna have us all that's watching you, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But yeah, I have them.
Yeah. Well, listen, man. We don't want to hold you all night, man.
Man, y'all good, man. I can do this any day with y'all, man. I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? But man, we definitely really appreciate you, man, just for your hard work. First of all, for just coming back. You know what I'm saying? We know you could have went many other places, but you know what I'm saying? Home is where the heart is, and we definitely appreciate you, man. We appreciate you just being so transparent with us this evening, not just with us, man, but with our listeners. You know, I'm sure that you enlightened them this evening, and like I said, man, much appreciation to you. You're always a friend of the show. Mm-hmm. So if you ever want to come back, just pull up a chair.
We're gonna have you back.
You know
that's gonna happen.
Hey, you have a key to the door, brother. So you know what I mean? So all you gotta do is say, hey, bro, I'm pulling up tonight. All right.
Say less.
I mean, and we'll make sure we have a tall glass of beer for you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you do, want to come back. Before we head out, Kobe, let me just say two quick things real quick.
Go ahead.
Let me get a shout out to the White family. My Neo, Tim White, lost his life last night, man. I want to shout out to his family. You know, just sending my condolences to his family. My chapter man, you know, the Cornerstone chapter man. We're gonna miss this dear brother. so much, man. We're still trying to wrap our heads around this.
Dang, man.
But you know what I'm saying, root to the Q's. And one more shout out, man. Happy birthday, man, to a good friend of mine, man. Lucky number 7, Charleston's finest. Happy birthday to you. And just listen, Bulldogs, man, don't take this life for granted, man. All right. Whenever you wake up in the morning time, man, thank God for that. All right, because my Neo was only 33 years old, man. And if, you know what I mean? So just, you know what I'm saying, whatever you wake up in the daytime, man, whenever you wake up that morning, man, whenever God allows you to actually breathe, man, thank him for that. All right, because nothing is guaranteed on this earth, man. Nothing is guaranteed. And we so blessed, so thankful to have brothers like, you know what I'm saying, Kobe, and just, you know what I'm saying, Bulldog Nation, you know what I'm saying, giving us an opportunity to show that Bulldog pride. Thank you for Troy, dog. You know, you keep hearing me calling your name, but man, I'm so grateful, so thankful for you. You and that coaching staff showed us so much love last Wednesday, man. We had such a good time. And you guys made us feel like we was a part of the coaching staff, man. I mean, it was such a phenomenal event. And you know, just, you know, without giving too much away, you know what I'm saying, Bulldog Nation, we got a lot to look forward to for this 2026 season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And, Troy, I think the next time I see you in person, I'm gonna be out there for the spring. I say the PTO for that. I ain't trying to miss none of the action. I got the PTO saved for that, man. I'm ready.
Yeah.
So,
there it is, man.
that'll be the next time I'll probably see you in person, man. But like I said, you're gonna be back on the show.
Hey, I appreciate it, man, for real. And on behalf of our staff, man, we appreciate what you guys do, man. Y'all keep doing your thing. We right here if you need us. Bulldog Nation, man, I appreciate y'all welcoming me back to the crib with open arms. It doesn't go without being said, man. It doesn't go unnoticed. So I appreciate you guys, man. I love y'all, man. Y'all take it easy. Root to the bros. You know what I'm saying? EO, stay up, man. Prayers out to EO in the loss of one of our brothers, man. And guys, man, just like Tuck said, man, life's short, man. So enjoy it while you can. Thank God for every moment that you get, man, and always continue to be great on purpose, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the season 3 premiere of Bulldog Blitz. We'll catch y'all again very soon as we talk about the entire recruiting class for South Carolina State, and we give our thoughts on that. Troy, thank you again, man. This was one of our best shows for sure.
One of our best ones.
In LA, y'all be safe. All right, y'all be careful, and we want everybody. I want to see everybody when the season starts. All right, so y'all be safe out there. We love y'all. Thank y'all again so much. We'll catch y'all next time, man. We out. This has been the Bulldog Blitz.
Hold on, Kobe.
Okay, go ahead.
You gotta remember this right here now. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs, man.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Man. Yes, sir.
We out.